Welcome back to Media Week. We've got James Manning, editor and publisher of Media Week, our co-host, of course, in the studio to discuss some of the news in the media sector this week. James, let's kick it off with Macquarie Radio. We've been talking about this one a lot over the past couple of months. It's unveiled now a new management structure. You've been talking to the executive chairman about their plans. What have you heard?
Yeah, I had a good chat to Russell Tate this week, and look, they're moving pretty quickly to try and get things happening. They've already moved in a lot of the staff from Fairfax Radio into their Pyrmont headquarters. We talked to him about, there were some concerns. Look, the Clark Forbes, who was the sort of content director for Fairfax Radio, is gone. He's not part of this. So concerned that, look, are they going to wade into 3AW, which has been, was one of the real gems in the network. He said, no, look, we're going to leave that pretty much alone. There won't be any changes unless we're really confident it's something we can do better. They talked about the 2CH sale. They've got a 12-month period, but the clock's already been ticking for a little while on that. He said they've had 4 or 5 firm offers and they would like to wrap that up by the end of the year, but he says there is a sale process for that. They're also selling a few of their regional stations in Queensland. The music network stations, that's Magic in Melbourne and Brisbane. They'd like that to become also include 2CH if the new buyer wants to be part of that, but there's they have to be careful about, there's some rules and regulations about what they can't and can do with that station after they sell it. And they, he was very confident. He was really wanted to promote the fact they're now the #1 radio network.
Of course he did.
10 plus in Australia. So
okay.
It's a claim various FM networks have been making, but there's another big player in that space.
All right. Speaking of radio players, Triple M as well, broadcasting a Russell Brand program weekly. We know he likes to talk.
Yeah, it should go well for them. He's been, notorious in the past. He got flicked off the BBC for a radio show that they weren't that impressed with. So he's been working on XFM in London. Triple M's done a deal to get that here. I think Audio Boom's involved, sponsorship with that. So yeah, it really fits the Triple M brand there.
I want to talk a bit about the online news providers. We've obviously been speaking about them, just then with Yahoo 7 as well. There's been lots of claims and counterclaims about improper attribution, as there often is in this online news space. Yeah,
look, mainly it's News Corp and Bluing with the Daily Mail. They've got a bit of a history of accusing each other of theft, and that's just really ramped up a little bit more, if you like, in the past week. News Corp, accusing Daily Mail of taking their stuff. Daily Mail's hit back and said, look, hang on, here's a couple of examples, and they've sent out the media details, links to all the stories. They said, look, our stuff's getting taken as well. So it's quite entertaining, puts a bit of
entertaining
focus
for
on
us,
the sector. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. I don't think it's anything too serious. There's talk of legal action, but I don't think we'll see really anything eventually.
All right, well, also in the media, we know the media loves to talk about an election, and we've got the UK election obviously happening this week. Much of the print media, though, seems to be backing the Conservatives.
Look, the polls think it's going to be really quite close, but a lot of the print people and sometimes publishers say, look, they want to be behind the winner. It's really hard to pick a winner in this. So only 2 newspapers have come out in support of Labor, which is the Daily Mirror and the Guardian. And a lot of people really think there could be a Labor government by the weekend in the UK. So I'm just going to see how it goes.
Speaking of the UK, and it's actually dominated front pages here at home as well, the royal baby taking the front and centre of even here in Australia.
Yeah, look, in the UK, and it just knocked the election right off the front page at a lot of the papers. Even a lot of the serious papers were just really following this story big time, and just any photos they could get were splashing it all over the place. So
readers,
a lot of interest there. Yeah, a lot of interest here. It's quite incredible, but particularly good for the magazine sector. Who magazine, New Idea, Women's Day, they've all come out with sort of special editions, if you like. Women's Day they're usually out on a Monday, they're out on Thursday this week with a special new edition. New Idea in turn republished their Monday edition, but with a whole new royal baby section. So it's seen as a real driver for them.
Yeah, it is. It does seem to pull readership. All right, let's take a look now at some of the TV ratings. Kicking it off with week 18 for free to air. And it was a big week, of course, for free to air with the block finale, and it actually finally came out on top.
It did, look, and I think we'll see that if you turn the page there, we're going to see the block taking up 5 of the top 10 spots this week, which is pretty incredible achievement.
See the next page in a moment.
Which the show was sort of written off early in the year, said, look, it wasn't doing very well, but it's really come back strongly towards the end of the year. 3 of those top 10 spots, of course, are that finale, which did fantastic business for them.
Yeah, of course. And subscription television ratings as well for week 18. There you have it, AFL and NRL. Of course, we always knew that's the top 5 sport, I should say.
Yep. I know Russell loved Rugby League International, just squeezing in there too.
All right, and the top 5 non-sport shows, Game of Thrones. No surprises to see that in the top spot.
I think that'll stop there. Australia's Next Top Model getting into the top 5 there, so doing very well. hasn't yet hit its stride that it's had in previous years, but it's been off air for best part of 2 years, so the audience are just realising it's back on.
Yeah, getting back, third spot.
And Wentworth, Logie winner Wentworth at number 5 there.
Yeah, we'll speak about the Logies in just a moment, James. Good segue there. But first, let's speak about Struggle Street, because we know this one obviously debuting in Australia this week on SBS, and it's been a ratings winner.
Yeah, look, it has 935,000 people, the biggest I think Australian-made program for SBS. That they normally get better audiences for things like maybe like Eurovision or some of their sport, the World Cup, or internationals involving the Socceroos. But yeah, just did fantastic business. Earlier in the week, it looked like it might have been a bit of a car crash. There was so much criticism, you know. But I think the makers of the show, the people who commissioned the show at SBS, Keogh Films Australia made it, they've almost gone from villains to heroes overnight, because the sentiment on social media was really behind the program. It just really turned around. I don't know if you did you watch it?
I watched some of it, yeah.
I had a bit of a look on Twitter, and there was just a lot of positive comments, and the feedback was very generous in its praise of the filmmakers, and the people portrayed in the show just came across as great characters.
Yeah, exactly. And it certainly was the case of, I think, bad publicity was ended up being good publicity.
Yeah, a lot of criticism came down to the trailer for the program, you know, and I think it's, you know, well, can we really blame the people who made the trailer? I don't know. You don't judge an Oscar movie on what the promo for the film. I think you've really got to see the product to get a real idea of
And I think they're rushing out a 2-hour special of the show next week as well.
Yeah, which I don't know is a good move, but they're committed to that, I think. So it's probably good. People can watch it all and you know, make a final judgment.
Yeah, no doubt Twitter will be talking about it next week as well. All right, Masterchef as well. It's come back to 10 and it's given it a good lift. Yeah,
look, it's been doing fantastic business. What a start for them. 2 nights as we go to air here, both over 1 million. Won its time slot easily, pushed 10 to first place on its debut back. So look, it's just incredible launch. Figures up, you know, fantastically off year-to-year comparisons are just through the roof. So great news. We talked about the sponsors for the show last week. Alfa Romeo and Coles, the 2 main ones there. You know, they'd be very happy with that. And it's got 10 back into the game, you know, and it's really hurt some of the new programs, the renovation shows that launched this week on 7 and 9. They just haven't been able to get a foothold yet. It's too early to say this is be the way it'll roll out for the rest of the Masterchef season, but 10 will be very happy at this stage.
Speaking of 10, there's been an exit from Matt Duran, the 10 reporter. Where's he going?
Yeah, look, he's going to the US to host a daily crime show. You know, he was on a series here called Wanted, which I'm sure was part of his reel that the producers of Warner Brothers Television in the US would have seen. It was a really well-made show here. CJZ put it together, I think, in Australia. It didn't rate as well as it should have, I don't think, in its Monday night time slot. Sandra Stully was sort of co-host on the show along with Matt. And, yeah, but it's a great get for him. But he's going to be leaving 10 and living in Los Angeles.
Good on him. All right, well, let's talk about the Logies, because it's been obviously, it's been last week. Let's just first, before we get into it, take a look at how the Goldlogie went down.
The Goldlogie winner is Carrie Bickmore.
James, the Goldlogie, Carrie Bickmore. Was that much of a surprise?
Not for all people. I didn't tip it, to be honest. But Carrie's been there, I think, 3 times previously as a nominee. 4th time proved lucky for her, so she did well. Look, it's well earned. I think universally, people very happy with that decision. A great speech she used to raise awareness of brain cancer. So that did fantastically well. Got people to wear beanies. Spread right across the media the next day. So it was fantastic for them. The Logies in general. Look, the awards were spread right across the sector, every channel winning sort of multiple awards, all of them doing well. No one real standout station won everything.
Any big surprises?
Oh, I don't think so. You know, it was a for the first live Logies for a long time. It was quite a safe awards night, if you like, but that's probably good. You know, there was no sort of social media sensations the next day.
Does it rate well, the Logies?
Did pretty well this year. I mean, it was just under 1 million. Both the arrivals, the red carpet special, and then the awards themselves did just under 1 million. But that awards show, I mean, it went from 7:30 till just after 11 p.m. So to hold 900,000 people for that long is a good figure these days.
We also know that Hamish and Andy are returning to radio. We actually caught up with them on the red carpet. Let's hear what they had to say about when they were asked if they felt the pressure.
No, there's an excitement from us.
Yeah.
Again, it's weird when people analyse it because it's just us in a little room with 2 microphones.
It feels even stranger because you don't even realise it's going out. You're sitting in a booth. People always go, when you talk about seeing, it's like, would you ever, podcast or stream the show? Like, absolutely not, because we eat in every song.
It'd be horribly boring for people. But I mean, it's going to be exciting. We're looking forward to it.
Always a laugh. All right, so what do you make of that? I mean, do you think they'll rate well?
Yeah, I think they'll do. It looks a very important part of Southern Cross Stereo's year. You know, they're really needing Hamish and Andy to fire because it'll help their drive show, and of course it'll, in theory, helps their breakfast shows too, because people will get out of their cars with the radio on those stations, get back in the morning, and there you go, they're on those. So those breakfast shows should benefit, and it's one of the challenges facing, I guess, APN News and Media and their radio division, Australian Radio Network. You know, that's competition they're going to have to fight off later in the year because they've been the big star performer.
All right, well, that is all we have time for on this edition of Media Week. A big thank you to our co-host, editor and publisher of Media Week, James Manning. From the team here, thanks for your company.